Today we're going to be spending a bulk of our time in pitching rule number 6. And in previous meetings, I've talked a lot about pitching positions. That's kind of the first thing, the set, the wind up. Today we're going to talk a lot about the section 2 of that, which is on page 43. So if you have your rule book, go to page 43. And we're talking about section 2, and these are the illegal acts that include. I'm not going to read all of them because I don't want to read to you, but I do want to point out a few of them just to get started with. So letter F talks about wearing any items on the hands, wrists, or arms that may be distracting to the batter. So we're talking in this region of the pitcher, okay? And it could be on the glove hand or it could be on the pitching hand. Most likely it's on the pitching hand that would be distracting just because as the ball is released coming through, but it also could be on the glove hand if it's distracting. If a batter says something, if a coach says something, hey, let's just go and get it taken off, okay? Likewise, you as an umpire, if it's distracting to you, well, guess what? You have the power to just say, hey, let's just take it off, stick it in your pocket. It's not that big of a deal, okay? Um, and wearing, so next one, wearing or placing tape, bandages, or other foreign material other than rosin on the fingers or palm of the pitching hand that could come in contact with a baseball. That last phrase is important, that could come in contact with a baseball, okay? So if this is his pitching hand, you know, anything on the fingers, anything on the palm, anything on the thumb right here, okay? A bandage on the wrist, lower wrist here, we're okay with that. A bandage, band-aid, you know, even on the outside of your hand, we're okay on that part. But we can't have anything on the actual basically the facing of the hand, the pitching hand that could come in contact with a baseball. Okay. Here's a big one, guys. Wearing a glove or mitt, that's the rule book says, that includes the colors white or gray. It's no other way of saying this. If the glove has white on it or gray on it, they can play with it. They just cannot pitch with it. And if we're not really thinking about it, then we will miss this. Now, there are lots of gloves out there. Don't go nitpicking. If the glove looks cream to you and you like, oh, hey, that's a cream color glove. They're out there. They're light tan, you know, that's fine. If it's not like white, I wouldn't go there. Okay. Another tactic that I would also like to go of is if I go talk to the pitcher and he has a glove that I suspect has white or gray on it, I will ask the pitcher a question. Hey, what color is your glove? They kind of look at me weird. Let's just answer my question. What color is your glove? And if they look at it and if they say white, guess what? It's a white glove. If they look at it and say, oh, it's tan, great. Okay, not a problem. I'm just going to pass on it. Okay, I'm not saying go pick this one, but this is a one that definitely needs to come into at least our thought process as we're watching the pitchers warm up and stuff. And even with the gray color, you know, the pattern that I see a lot of it, that the glove that I have to typically remove in this situation is the glove that's kind of that bluish and gray color, the alternating pattern where the palm of the glove is gray and the outside is blue, and like on the fingers they alternate like blue. It's a very, very popular one. I think Wilson sells a lot of it. And again, same thing with I walk out there and hey, but what color is the inside of your glove? And they'll look at it and go gray. And I said, yeah, hey, unfortunately you can't pitch with this glove. Go grab another glove. And 99% of the time they have another glove ready to go because it's not the first time they've been told to do that. They just like the color of their cool looking glove, so they're gonna try it. Okay. So tip for you on this scenario, ask the pitcher, hey, what color is your glove? And if they tell you it's white or gray, hey, move, you need to act on it. If they tell you it's blue, hey, it's, you know, cream, okay, then we can leave that one alone. Wearing exposed undershirt sleeves that are white or gray. Similar things right there. Okay, so I'm not sure if you can see it on the video, but I got a short sleeve shirt on. If they're wearing long sleeves, full long sleeves, okay, they can't be white or gray. Their color, you know, color of the uniform, black, that's good, but they just can't be white or gray. Likewise, if they're wearing kind of like, you know, sometimes they have like the 3/4 inch sleeve cut off undershirt here that goes past their jersey, it can't be white or gray on that too. So that one's pretty simple as well. Let's keep going. Let's turn the page. That was page 43. Let's turn the page and let's talk about balks now. Yay, balks. And by the way, all balks, I'm going to just say right here, all balks are immediate dead balls. All balks are immediate dead balls. Let me say it a third time. All balks are immediate dead balls. That means nothing else can happen. Once you call time, that's a balk. Nothing else can happen. If the batter hits a home run, guess what? He's staying at the plate. If the batter gets hit in the back, guess what? It doesn't happen. He stays at the plate. Balks are immediate dead balls. Let's jump in. Any of the following acts by a pitcher while the pitcher is touching the pitcher's plate. Here we go. Letter A, and I've kind of separated this into two sections because it's easier to think of that way. Any feinting towards the batter or first base. Those are the two scenarios. Any feinting towards the batter or first base. So if the pitcher fakes like he's throwing it to the plate and does anything else, we're going to call that a balk. Okay. Likewise, if the pitcher fakes towards first base and doesn't throw it, guess what? We're going to call that a balk. Okay. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. Second part of this is dropping the ball, and it goes intentionally or unintentionally. It doesn't really matter. If the pitcher is on the pitcher's plate and he drops the baseball, if it does not cross the foul line, then it's going to be a balk. So I just call time, and we all laugh about it. It happened to me when I was playing, and it's just a part of the game. It happens every now and then, but we got to be prepared. That's letter A. Letter B talks about stepping, and this is where we get the no step balk. So I'll read it to you from there. Failing to step with the non-pivot foot directly towards a base, occupied or unoccupied, when throwing or feinting. And by the way, if there's feinting, it cannot be towards first base. We just talked about that in letter A. They're in an attempt to put out or drive back a runner. Okay. So let me talk about this one first. So the step with the non-pivot foot has to gain distance and direction. Okay. And if he doesn't do that, that's how we have what's called a no-step balk. Okay. And a no-step balk means that whatever base or wherever the ball went, the pitcher did not gain distance and direction towards that. So from the set position, if the pitcher is going to throw a pitch, his non-pivot foot has to gain distance and direction towards home plate. If he's going to pick off to first base, his non-pivot foot has to gain distance and direction towards first base. And we hear the phrase that I want you to think about with this one is more towards this base than the plate. So like the thought of a lefty pitcher, okay? You know, his non-pivot foot, which would be his right foot, he picks up his knee, he does that, you know, that little diagonal step out. Think logically, did he step more towards first base than to home? If he did, then and he throws to first base, then we're fine. If he didn't and he throws to first base, then we have a balk. And this is called a no-step balk. He must gain distance and direction towards first base. The second part of this one is a throw or feint to an unoccupied base without a play. Okay, so this scenario is we have R1 at first base. He is stealing before the pitcher begins his motion. Okay, the pitcher can step and throw towards second base. Even though there was not a runner occupying that base at the time the pitcher became set, he is making a play on the runner, or he is actually making an attempt to drive back a runner there. Now, what a pitcher cannot do is with a runner at first base, he cannot pick up his leg and throw to third base. That would be throwing to an unoccupied base without a play. That one would be a balk. So if we have a play being made, the pitcher can make a feint or a throw to either base that the runner is either started at or going to. Well, let me backtrack. He still cannot feint towards first base. Hey, have I said that enough time? A pitcher cannot feint towards first base. See letter A1. Moving on. Some more things. Making an illegal pitch from any position. Okay, so this is where we have to go back to the first part of Rule 3, which is the pitching positions from the windup or from the set position. And this is where we get probably the most common balk that we call is a no-stop balk. A pitcher in the set position must come to a complete and discernible stop with his gloves. He has to come set right here. He has to come set. And by the way, he has to come set with runners on. And if he's in the set position, he also has to come set with no runners on base because there are only two legal pitching positions, the windup and the stretch. And if he's in the stretch, that's a part of being in the stretch is you have to come to a complete discernible stop. Okay. Failing to pitch in a continuous motion. We call this a start-stop balk. So a continuous motion would be the pitcher picks up his leg, and as he's picking up his leg, his entire body freezes. The hang. Okay. If part of his body is continuing in some sort of continuous motion, we're okay there. But if the pitcher completely stops his motion, then that's a balk. We're going to call that a start and stop balk. Likewise, another start and stop balk would be, say, if the pitcher flinches his knee and begins to his motion and then stops his motion instantly. That could also be a start and stop balk in this one. So fails to pitch in a continuous motion. That's letter D. Now, this part of the rule has a whole huge section about what happens if the batter does something different. Okay, so the biggest takeaway is the batter cannot cause a pitcher to balk. If the pitcher is making legal pitch, if he is making a legal pitch and he is using his continuous motion and delivering the pitch, there is nothing the batter can do that would make us call a balk. If the batter steps out of the batter's box and that's what makes the pitcher stop, we're going to call time and it's a reset. It's no penalty, no nothing. Just tell the batter, hey, bud, don't do that. Okay? Tell the pitcher, hey, just keep pitching. You're fine. Just keep pitching. He can't cause you to balk. Okay? Another one is if the batter steps out during the play and the pitch comes in, no matter where the pitch is going to be a strike. And I could read it to you in here. That says, if the pitcher with runners on base stops or hesitates in the delivery because the batter steps out of the box, and it gives you some situations. Let's take a look at if the pitcher legally delivers the ball. This is down the second half of it. If the pitcher legally delivers the ball, it shall be called a strike and the ball remains live. And so there's even more to this that you can read on your own, but that's not the purpose of this meeting. We can save that part for another day. But the biggest takeaway I want you guys to get is that the batter cannot cause a pitch to ball. And then last one on this slide, taking the hand off the ball while in the set position. So if he's come set and he's got his gloves here and he's already ready together, if he takes the hand off the ball and drops his hand out like that, then that's going to be a balk in that situation, unless that's a part of his pickoff move. If he separates his hands to step off the rubber like that in a continuous motion, we're not going to call that one, okay? That's the exception to that. We're almost done, doing really great. Letter F, failing to pitch to when the entire pivot foot passes behind the perpendicular plane of the back edge of the pitcher's plate. Okay, so the pitcher's plate is a rectangle, right? And typically when a pitcher is in the stretch, he puts his pivot foot parallel to the rubber, which is the definition of the set position, by the way. When he comes set, there are some pitchers that like to bring the foot of his, non-pivot foot as he's picking up and kind of does this little half spin move, okay? To wind up, gain extra momentum. Who knows why they do it, because maybe somebody in the major leagues did it several years ago. Anyway, but if the entire non-pivot foot passes completely behind the back edge of the pitcher's plate, which looks really weird. Okay, I'm just going to let you know this is very hard to do. He has to throw to the plate. If he doesn't throw to the plate, then we're going to call a balk. And there's one exception. If there's a runner at second base and he is throwing or feinting to second base, that is legal because he's practically, spun all the way to second base anyway. So this one, again, you'll hear people talk to you about, hey, his foot's crossing the rubber. Okay, but his entire foot has to cross the entire rubber, which, as I've said before, is very, very awkward. When you see it, you're just going to go, oh my gosh, what did he just do? It looks really weird. Okay. And then the last one is a bonus one, and there is a play with this in the early college season, and then I've got a play of this here to look at in just a second. But this is the hidden ball trick in high school. This is where this rule comes in. It's actually on the next page, on page 45. It is also a balk if a runner or runners are on base, and the pitcher, while the pitcher is not touching the pitcher's plate, makes any movement naturally associated with the pitch. That's one. Or pitcher places the feet on or astride the pitcher's plate, 2, or takes a position within approximately 5 feet of the pitcher's plate without the ball. Okay, and that's the last one. And I'm not sure how we could have the first two without the third one by default already being met, like the pitcher being within 5 feet of the rubber, without the ball in order. So that's the one we have. Now 5 feet is, and it says approximately 5 feet. How about that for some description? Most pitchers' mounds, most dirt circles, I'm not going to say that they're 5 feet. Some of them are actually smaller. Some of them are actually larger. There's another rule set that specifically says the dirt circle around the pitcher's mound as the what the pitcher cannot be on for the hidden ball trick. But our rule book says approximately 5 feet. So you use your judgment. I'm about 5'6", so I have to think, about if I were to lay down, on the rubber, think of, my distance. And, generally speaking, that probably is pretty close to the dirt circle, okay? So, but our rule book says 5 feet without having the ball. We actually have a play to look at that here in just a little bit, okay? So that's enough hearing me yak. Let's talk about some plays. Here we go. So this first video, we have a runner at third base. We have no outs. And we have a pitcher that is going to be in the wind-up position. So that is going to be his initial starting position. Let's take a look. Ball is in play. So in this video, we have an illegal pitch from the wind-up position, which in this case with a runner on base is a balk. Okay, and the illegal act of this is what we would call a start-stop balk. So I'm going to play from here. Watch the pitcher's gloves. And he actually did it twice. To be completely honest with you, the first time caught me by surprise. I was thinking, oh man, what did he do? Did he flinch? Did he sneeze? Did he something like that? But then he did it a second time, and I was like, okay, this is pretty obvious. So we're going to get this one. So his hands were together. His natural motion when he steps backwards or his hands drop, and then he brings, continues his motion as he's pivoting in the wind-up position. So hands were here. He brought him down, stop, brought him back up, stop. So that is a start-stop balk. Here's another play. We have a runner at second base. Again, we are eyes on the pitcher, and let's see what happens. So before I talk about this one real fast, hey, we had multiple runners on, so something we can get better at on this one is time. That's a balk. And then turn around, just like we did during training. You, third base. Look at the runner at first. You, second base. These are base awards that we're giving out here. And granted, most people know when we call a balk that they're going to get the next base. But let's go ahead and be proficient in our mechanics and go ahead and do the whole thing. Okay, so let's talk about this one a little bit. We'll back it up. The key to this one is ask yourself, does the pitcher actually ever stop? Does he actually ever truly come set? And in our base umpire's judgment, and in my judgment as well, the answer is no. He had the leg tap, the leg tap, the leg tap, and then the glove shake, and the glove shake, and then we'd go right into our delivery, so we do not have a clear and discernible stop. So from the set position, this is a no stop balk. Let's talk about this one. Umpire is in B position. I'm assuming there's a runner at first base. I don't remember, but let's take a look. This was a really good one, caught instantly from this is a feinting to first base. Remember, there are two things that you cannot feint to. You cannot feint to the batter, and you cannot feint to first base. Those are the two things that you can't do. And he most definitely feints to first base. Now, did the runner take off? Yes, he did. But still, in this scenario, his movement is towards first base, so he has to throw the ball. Let's watch this one more time, because if we're not careful, this one will catch us off guard because, oh, he's making a play on the runner. No, he feinted to first base. Let's watch. And once we see the throw does not happen, that's exactly when we call the balk here. Now, what happens if the pitcher steps off the back of the rubber? Is the pitcher a pitcher anymore? Well, the answer is no. The pitcher is a fielder. So if you see the pitcher step off the back of the rubber with his pivot foot, He can do whatever he wants to. He is a player. He's a fielder on the field. He can feint to any single base. He can do whatever he wants to. He can run at the runner. All of things change because he is no longer a pitcher, because he's no longer in a pitching position. Okay. But from the rubber, if he makes a pickoff move towards first base and he fakes it, that is an immediate balk, just like is called here. Way to go. This one is we have runners at first and third. And we have a left-handed pitcher on the mound, and let's watch what happens. Okay, lots of things to dissect in this video. And I do want to talk about a few things, okay? So let's start it over one more time, and then I'll stop. That is a feint to first base, and it is a balk. So right there, time, that's a balk. He feinted towards first base and did not throw the baseball. You point to the runner at third, score, turn right around to the runner, you go to second. Now, that's not what we did. Okay, so instead of having a run scored and a runner at second base now with the same batter up, we have a run down and a play at the plate, and we have the runner at third out. So now, instead of getting the rule right, now we've got the situation wrong, and the home team, whoever the what team is in white, I think this may be a tournament game, so I don't know exactly who the teams are. Instead of having a run scored and a runner at second base and no outs, we have a runner at third base, 1 out, and no run scored. That's why it's really important to ask yourself just these simple things, just right off the bat. Boom. Is this a balk? Did he feint towards first base? The answer is yes, he did. So time, that's a balk, and we move on. It's that simple, okay? Now, let's invert this. I wish I had a video inverter that would allow me to play it reversed. Let's say that this is a right-handed pitcher, and he is facing third base. Okay, let's say that he's a right-handed pitcher, and he's facing third base. A right-handed pitcher can step towards third base and fake the throw. Remember, the only two places you cannot feint are home and first. That means you can feint towards second and you can feint towards third. So a right-handed pitcher stepped towards third base, fakes there, and then turns and fires towards first base. Again, we're thinking the mirror opposite. That is a legal play. We can have the third to first move in high school baseball. In other levels and other rule sets, that is not okay. But in high school baseball, in NFHS rule set, the third to first move is legal. And the reason being is because you can feint towards third base. All right?
Quick question.
Yeah.
If we're not sure if it's balk or not, are we allowed to stop play and ask our partner?
That's a great question. The answer is no. If you do not know for 100% that what you saw is a balk, be quiet. Talk about it in between innings, and you know what? You're gonna miss some. I miss some. I would, the reason that the balks are in the game is to keep the pitcher from gaining a unfair advantage. And if it's something where you're questioning yourself and going, oof, ooh, was that really, was it? Then I would be willing to bet that the pitcher actually probably did not gain an advantage. Now, no stop balks, we need to get those. No step balks, we need to get those. Throwing to an unoccupied base, okay, those are automatic. But the little nuanced ones, oh, did he flinch? Did he start and stop? Okay, I'm really on the era of side of it's got to be an obvious balk for me to call one. Okay, good question. Now, here's a play that I want us to watch and take a look at where the pitcher is, take a look at where the ball is. We have a runner at second base, and let's watch. Ball is thrown to second base. So we need to ask ourselves, where is the baseball in this situation? Where is the baseball in this situation? We have a catch by the second baseman. He catches it. He throws to the shortstop who's standing on the base. We now have the baseball here. We're good there. He fakes a throw towards the pitcher. The pitcher then is walking towards the pitcher's rubber right there. If I were to freeze it right here. Now, is he on the dirt circle? Yes, he is. Is he within 5 feet of the rubber? I would also say that as a true statement, okay? But the obvious part of this is they're trying to deceive that runner on second base, get him to step off without it because he faked the throw. Everybody, or the red team knows it, but the only people that know the shortstop still has the baseball is me and my partner. The only person that has the full, complete view of the field is me. And so this is the hidden ball trick where it is a balk because the pitcher takes a position within 5 feet, approximately 5 feet of the pitcher's rubber. Let's watch this one more time.